Well, hello and welcome back to another video. I'm sure you're sitting there wondering after you saw the title of this video, kind of like, what the heck? Interesting story. Where there's a title like that, there's always a story. So, got myself a glass of bourbon here while I'm sitting in my office, using my favorite cup, the one that says it's not my problem anymore, because I'm retired. This was given to me by the people I worked with. Absolutely my favorite glass. Got a little bit of Woodford Reserve in it. Straight, no ice, no nothing. Just drink it straight. So anyway, yes, I survived a day of photography with Ron Durant. And yes, my files didn't. So what does all that mean? What is it? Well, it's a story like anything and everything. But I think the first thing I want to do is I want to say thanks, Ron, for taking the time to take me out, because I absolutely, truly enjoyed every second of it. And I can't wait to come back and do it again sometime, later this year. Like right now, we're planning maybe doing it again in the fall. But so what happened? Well, Ron and I met, all right, at about 4 a.m. Last week, and we went out around Crossville to photograph different locations that Ron likes to use. And the idea was just go out and take pictures. I just wanted to get out and, see something different. I've always wanted to photograph, in the Plateau region of Tennessee, because I had never done that. So we went out and we had, we shot sunrise, we shot waterfalls, went and visited, National Park, customer service center, to learn a little bit about the history in the area, and just had a great day. All right. It wasn't easy. Trust me. Ron pushed me. We did a lot of hiking up and down hills. It wasn't like it was long distances, but it was, steep in some places. Things, somebody who lives, where it's fairly flat doesn't do normally. But I survived it all. I got through all of it. And I had what I believe to be, several images that were fantastic, at least 10 to 20, all right, that were really great captures from the day. All right, just did. I thought they were fantastic, and I had just a ton of video, and we were having a good time videoing different locations. Even in one of the spots, Ron grabbed my camera, and because I had it sitting down, and he grabbed it and started video talking to it about how you shouldn't leave your camera unattended, because you never know who's going to grab it, and we just had a good time, and then when I got home, it wasn't, the images and files, just, we had a problem. So now what happened? I think if you've watched the previous videos, you've seen that after I retired, I picked up a new Apple laptop. I got rid of my HP desktop and went to a laptop. All right, and it's been working fine. There are no issues with it. Matter of fact, the day before Ron and I got together, I went to Cage Cove and, took some images there, created a lot of video, put it all together. And that's the video that's posted this week that you're seeing. All right, yeah, everything there worked fine. All right, and so then I tried to get into the working on, the images and videos, all right, from the day with Ron. All right, and in my workflow, what I will do is first thing I'll do is I'll download the images. I set up a file for whatever I call the event. I'll put a folder in there called images, another one called videos. All right, and I'll download the images, all right, from my camera into that file. Then I'll download the videos, all right, from the camera into that file. All right, and then I'll start working on them. At the same time, I'll take and make a backup copy, all right, from my hard drive, either to iCloud, all right, or OneDrive, or Google Drive. In this case, I backed up to Google Drive and to OneDrive. Google Drive and iCloud. All right, went through and worked on the images. No issues. I pulled them into Lightroom, and the way I have Lightroom set up, it backs them up out to the cloud as well. All right, so I've got that backup along with the others, at least on the image side. All right, so no issues going through the images. Matter of fact, I sent Ron a couple text messages about how I, thought the images turned out. Didn't have a single problem. All right, then I sat down and started working on the video. In the middle of working on the video, my laptop completely locked up and crashed. All right. And I thought maybe I just had too many things running, or I was trying to do too much, because it was certainly, you know, I'd been working with it for a while, doing first the video from Cage Cove, and now working on this, working on the day with Ron. I thought maybe I just, loaded it up. So I shut everything down, left it alone, figured I'd get up the next morning and just go back to work. So next morning I get up, come and sit down, try to work on a laptop, won't even turn on, won't even come on. This is really odd. All right, so then I picked it up. So well, maybe it just didn't charge. Maybe the batteries run dead. So I took it and I hooked it up, someplace else where I could charge it with a different cable. Left it alone for about 15 minutes. Went in and checked on it. Sure enough, it came on. So that must have been a problem. Battery must have died overnight. Sat down and started to work again. And as soon as I tried to do something, crashed. All right, absolutely just locked up. And I was like, none of this stuff, it just didn't make any sense. So I got on the phone with Apple Care, and I started telling them what was happening. We started talking through it and those kind of things, and trying to figure it out. And ultimately, what they were telling me is they thought the issue was because of as they called it, the apps that I was running. Well, what I was running was Lightroom, all right, and I was running DaVinci Resolve. Nothing unusual about them. I've been using them forever. And I know Ron has a similar laptop to my Mac, and he runs the same programs and never had an issue. So that seemed kind of odd to me. All right. And anything they tried just never worked. All right. So again, I didn't think much of it. All right. Just take that back and I'll get something else. All right. So I did. But on the way back, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to get another Mac. I'm just going to go back to a Windows laptop. And so I got myself a Lenovo ThinkPad, I think is what it's called. It's 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of space. It's a nice laptop sitting here in front of me. All right. So I figured I would switch back to that. So when I got back and got everything all set up, first thing I did was start going back into my files to, so I could do the work. All right. And finish everything up. And immediately, first thing I went to was iCloud. And in iCloud, I have a file that I titled it Ron Durant. Clicked on it, opened it up, nothing in there. Like, that's odd. Nothing in there. So then I went to my Google Drive. Did the same thing. Files there, opened it up, nothing in it. Oh, you got to be kidding me. All right, so in essence, every place I had saved it, or thought I had saved it, nothing went there. Just the file, the title of the file or the folder, but nothing else did. So I thought, well, at least I got my images. Well, looking at having Lightroom restore itself, they're not there. So now I don't know what happened, but I do know that I had a couple other things happen with my Amazon Prime account and a few other things this week that lead me to believe that more than likely what happened is somebody hacked into my Mac and somehow got into things and just messed it up something fierce, and that's probably led to it. But I ended up losing everything. The only thing I have, all right, from that day are going to be the image that I use for the thumbnail. All right, and I have one image, all right, from Ozone Falls that I took with my phone, all right, that at least gives you an idea of one of the places we're at. So I'll put that in here so you can at least see it. All right, so now I'm curious, anybody else have that happen to them or anything like that happen? What's your workflow? How do you do it? How do you back things up? I got to believe that there's a better way to do it. I'm sitting here thinking about it myself. What can I do differently? And so now I'm playing with, Ron and I talked about NAS systems and things like that. First thing I did was I ordered myself an external hard drive. It'll be here on Sunday. I'm going to put that out here and I'm going to make that part of my workflow. And then the question is, do I go to a NAS or do I use a cloud storage system? I haven't decided yet on that. Right now my mind's thinking I'm going to probably use iCloud or OneDrive. All right. And they seem to function a little bit better with this laptop than Google Drive does. But that's what I'm thinking of doing. Curious what you guys do. Curious, opinions, comments, concerns, criticism, even some outrage. I got lots of outrage from what happened, trust me, because I had great images, had great video, had a great time, and I end up with nothing to show for it other than the one image you saw. So I'll get another chance. All right, I'll get another chance to get back out there. And Ron and I'll get a chance to, go out and have some more fun and, make another video or two and just, laugh it up and have a good time. But, this particular time, it just didn't work. So anyway, I'm not going to ramble on. Just want to say thank you, everybody. Remember to like, comment, and share. Help the channel. If you subscribe, it's free and it helps. It helps with the algorithms. And if you like, same kind of thing. So, all those things are greatly appreciated. So, till we see you again, stay safe.